Our attention is on Kentucky, where the jury is hearing from the victim in that case, the military wife murder trial, the victim Ashley Henning's friend and neighbor.
But during one of our conversations, not this day, but a day before, or a prior event, us hanging out, Jordan was talking about his marriage with Ashley, and I told him, I said, well, maybe you and my husband can talk, because me and my husband had been married for 18 years at the time. I said, marriages have problems. You can go talk to my husband. And he said, because he actually got in my face. We were drinking, we were on the back patio. He got in my face, he grabbed my face like this, and I pushed his hands off me. I said, Jordan, get out of my face, step back and talk to me. Because like I said, when he's drinking, he's there. He's touchy, he's grabby, he's handsy, so he grabbed my face like this, and he goes, I need you to hear me. And I pushed his hands off me, and I said, Jordan, get off of me, back up, you can talk to me. And I said, you probably can talk to Brandon about this, because for me, it was like he was a man. He should have been talking to my husband, more talking to my husband, because I was Ashley's friend. And he said, no, I don't. He goes, I respect your opinion. He goes, because your husband's softer than you. He goes, you're more like me. He goes, there's people that are like us. He goes, there's not many of them, but he goes, you're more like me.
But I have the same objection.
Okay.
Thank you.
Carry on.
And that led us into a whole conversation about how me and him, and I said, well, people like us, I said, we're just built different because of our life experiences. That's just, we have to learn to be abrasive to a point. And that pretty much led us to, him saying, well, there's just some people who are just made weak. And he goes, you're a female. He goes, not many females are strong. He goes, even a lot of men. He goes, even Jason and Jimmy, because during that conversation that night, which was a previous night, he had talked about his neighbors, because they kept coming over to their house, because like I said, we talked about literally everything. We talked about religion that night. We talked about their neighbors, because they talked about how the neighbors knew they had marriage problems, but they would always come over when they would see them outside and wouldn't give them space to have their time. We talked about how Jordan felt that there was a lot of people that, that were soft and didn't understand, how to be hard, or, what it meant to be hard. And he talked about how the neighbors, were soft, and I was different than neighbors. And he goes, a lot of people like to try to be like us. He goes, but they're not like us. So I think there was a boundary very set early on with me and Jordan from that night forward, from that conversation, to where when he put his hands on my face and I pushed him off of me, and I said, Jordan, don't do that. Because I even said, there's just certain lines with me you do not cross. I said, my lines are, you do not F with my husband, and you do not F with my kids. And he laughed, and he goes, yeah. I said, that to me, you mess with my husband and you mess with my kids, I said, I will gladly rock a jumpsuit and smile in my mugshot if you cross those lines with me. I said, you can come in my house, you can steal my stuff, you can do anything, but don't cross those lines with me. Don't mess with my family. That is important to me. And Jordan laughed, and he said, yeah, he goes, I feel similar. He goes, but the difference between me and you is he goes, being military, he goes, I can claim PTSD, and because I take testosterone injections, he goes, I can say I had a rage moment and claim insanity. And I was like, yeah, you actually do have a leg up on me if something ever crazy did happen. So Jordan, he was just going back to the party. He was just very abrasive. He was in your face. That's just who he was. He made himself known. But I think there was very early on that respect was known of Jordan. You're not going to come at me. You're not going to cross the line. You're not going to put your hands on me. That's just something we're not going to do. And I think because he's seen I was different than people he probably normally was around. I was definitely different than Ashley. He respected that boundary with me that he didn't respect with others.
So let me ask you about that conversation where he grabbed you by the face. How did that start? How did the conversation start?
That night, we were talking. He was bringing up. He was talking about their marriage at the point, and he was bringing up how he said, you know, sometimes you just want to give up. And I said, well,
Was Ashley there when he was?
Ashley was in the house. Me and Jordan and Brandon were sitting on his back porch, and the reason Ashley had went in.
An objection there. They're going to go to sidebar, but a great moment to pause because we just heard this witness say that the defendant claimed that he could use PTSD as an argument if anything ever happened and blame it on his medication. Let's bring in our trial attorney standing by, see what she thinks. From Washington, D.C., Megan Whiteside is with us. Megan, your thoughts on this witness and why the defense isn't objecting more?
Well, I think that they are. Just with the video, we're hearing very faint objections and the judge is overruling things very quickly. But that was a very powerful moment for the jury to hear because this goes to the defendant's state of mind. And that is absolutely relevant in a case like this. And it's not good. Like you said, if you were the defense attorney, you think you'd be on your feet objecting. But at this point, I think that the defense may have made a tactical error making a few other objections during this witness's testimony before this bombshell, because you can only object to so much and then you look like you're hiding things. And so this is compelling testimony that's setting the scene for what we can expect to be additional compelling testimony about the alleged murder itself. This is not good for the defense.
Yeah, especially when the whole defense is that she was abusing me for all these years. If you believe this lady, yeah.
And so that sounds like PTSD in some ways.
Right, and then this lady is saying like her, you know, those two are like, oh, we're hard. We might, and if we ever kill a softie, we could, you know, blame it on the PTSD. It's demolishing the defense on multiple angles, which is fascinating. They did get to the sidebar. The sidebar is over. Let's go back in.
Okay, Ms. Savat had asked when this conversation about marital problems began, where Mr. Henning had grabbed your face, how did that conversation begin? And was that with just Jordan, or was Ashley present in that conversation as well?
No, Ashley was in the house.
And I think you had said Jordan just brought this up.
Yeah, because like I said, that night we'd had a lot of conversations. I mean, friendship, you know, you talk about everything under the sun. So we talked about religion and stuff and our opposing views and things on that. And then we went into the whole family thing and, you know, and he had said, he goes, well, you know, we have issues. He goes, but what if a person just is done and fed up? And I said, well, then you need to have that conversation, you know, like with Ashley. I said that's not a conversation that we need to have with you. That's what a conversation you need to have with her. I said, but you know, I said the thing is I said every marriage goes through trials. And I said, you know, me and my husband being a military family as well, been through a lot of trials. Military families face different trials than some people, you know, a lot of maybe people who aren't in the military. I said, but that's a conversation you need to be having with Ashley. I said, or maybe you can talk with Brandon. And because my husband was sitting back on the patio, like on one area in a chair, and I was standing up against like the banister, and he was just kind of like in between. And so I was on one side of say this was the banister. I was like leaned up against this banister. My husband was over on this banister with a chair. Jordan was in between us. So Jordan came to me and he put his hands like this, and he said, and he lowered his voice. He goes, Brandon Soft, me and you are more. And then he raised it when he said Brandon Soft. He lowered he goes, I trust your opinion more.
Okay.
And so that's.
Okay. So there was a different time that you had all discussed marital problems. Is that correct?
Yeah, we discussed marriage problems a few times actually.
Okay. Can you tell us some of the problems that were talked about?
Jordan's primary issue he had was Ashley was not having sex with him. That was one of the main things he would always say was he didn't feel like Ashley appreciated him, and because he would do things for her and she didn't show appreciation, and she would not have sex with him. And I can tell you what Ashley said about that too, if you'd like. So Ashley, because me and her had these conversations as well.
I've got an objection.